Alright, people, we have the finals. It is going to be between Auctioneer, spawning over here at the top left as the red undead player, and he will be playing up against a long time finalist Hippo, spawning as the blue human at the bottom right. We are going to be having a new map this time around. It is going to be one of the new map introduced with the ladder known as Brightwater Oasis.
If I recall correctly, one notable thing about the map is that there's two camps. I believe it's the 50-50 chance where they will spawn on either side, and it will be mirrored onto the other side of the map as well, if I recall correctly.
I think that is the case, but we're gonna have to check. But then again, the one thing I would like to point out, now this is gonna be a nerd map thing. If you look at Hippo's base, you notice something weird. You can see the grass around his town hall green. That is not, yeah, that's not going to be case. Not going to be the case if the map was actually based off of Baron. This map is not based off of the Baron tile set, but you do see the Baron tiles around the grass and everything. All this is the Baron tile set. So that this only happens, and it's kind of a sloppy thing. And yeah, Maeve, you gotta amp your game up next time you go for the map making. Should pick up the right tile set, natural tile set for the thing. So we got Hippo going in with Archmage and a late hero build.
Fast feed for Auctioneer.
Beans indeed, and this is likely going to be Death Knight. Yep, Death Knight. Standard as you can get.
I think for fast feed it's a pretty safe option. Like if you are not clear on the map layout, you are not sure what the creep camps are, fast feed, when you have two fins out, you can clear creep camps pretty easily. With human, they have the militia option, and we see Hippo going straight for the goblin lab.
And if you see the middle of the map actually has the Sunken Ruins tile set. That's another tile set which was introduced in the Frozen Throne. Scout Annoying Footman taking some damage there. Did get all the information that he needed. The only thing for him ending is actually look at the hero, which is of course going to be Death Knight. Late hero build usually turns out to be Death Knight. You don't really want to go for the other one.
It's quite possible now to also go creep lord with fast speed build. I've seen Ted, who is the 2012 WCG champion, going for a lot of early fins with creep lord lately on his streaming, and it worked out quite well for him, to be honest.
Okay, so that also can work out. GB is on the stream. He says human bringing some life to the barren land.
And I think on Brightwater Oasis, judging that the natural for both players are raid camps, people opting for attack, going into Rifleman most likely. Rifleman Inner Fire, certainly a very good, still a very strong combo if the undead doesn't know how to counter it.
Hippo pulling in a couple of militiamen there, probably to tank up the damage. Now, these are coup balls. They got bash, and oh, Hippo gonna lose one of the footmen there. Nice, he managed to save it. These things have bash. You want to be careful. You want to be very careful with them. But
you do not want to end up like happy losing the DK to bash.
Indeed, and Hippo getting a pretty good item there actually. Potion of Inwell. And selling off. What did he have there? I actually forgot what was there.
I did not manage to catch it as well, but he bought the Boots of Speed. I think he wants to go in and cause some mayhem to the undead main. Just running past the Archmage. Archmage has to be careful.
Just trying to delay the undead, I guess.
Yeah, with level 3 Archmage, you don't want to creep it any further. Once your Mountain King come out, you want to creep him as soon as you can to level 3 while using your Archmage to distract the undead army.
There are no towers up yet. He can actually easily go in and try to deal some damage on those acolytes. Should have bought the Staff of Teleportation actually, if this was his choice of doing things. Harassment as a human player is not something that you see in all of the games, but it is something that I feel human players should do a bit more against undeads.
Usually on one base, they can afford to do so, but if human goes fast expansion, we usually don't see the case for that. Hippo tried to deny the water elemental, didn't get it, and now Auctioneer is threatening a surround. But with boots of speed, Hippo can certainly just run away from a possible surround very easily. Two fins really hurt, pulled back into the main of Auctioneer.
I think Auctioneer should be able to save them, and now here's the thing. Level 2 elementals deal a lot of damage, but if they're gonna die, they're gonna give a lot of EXP as well, and there we go, Auctioneer reaching level 3 with that Death Knight.
Level 2 water elemental, some undead players, including myself, sometimes we don't aim for the water elemental, but if you think about it carefully, water elemental give pretty good experience at level 2.
Yeah, that's the main point about them. You're gonna compare them with Spirit Wolves and other stuff. I mean, water elementals actually give a lot of EXP, and it appears that Mountain King is ready, and Hippo wants to set up an expansion. Pretty late expansion, but very much doable.
Expansion on tier 2 entirely possible. With human, usually nowadays they feel that they couldn't win undead on one base most of the time. So going for an expansion almost seems necessary in the current meta that we have.
The meta is the meta of expansions. Seeing 2 expansions for one player is not something rather surprising. And Hippo going for more camps. The Gargantuan Sea Turtle is something human players need to be definitely careful of. I think that's chaos damage. Backing out the Archmage right on time, and I like how Hippo crept this camp out. Kept the Archmage in while targeting it, and then backed it out right before it died.
I think at this point in time, it is extremely crucial for the undead not to let the Mountain King creep to level 3. Once the Mountain King creep to level 3, things will be extremely difficult for the undead. Level 2 Stormbolt and a few right clicks certainly can kill a Fiend within like a matter of seconds, and if your call isn't fast enough, yeah, things will be looking bad for you. And with this orange can, people will get a level 3 MT, but Auctioneer going into the main of the human, there is no wall off. There is no arcade.
No arcane tower. Hippo is going to. This is going to cost Hippo a lot. Need an arcane tower. Whoa!
Everything.
Auctioneer gonna lose a couple of feeds. Yep, he's gonna lose a couple of feeds there.
He lost only one feed. I think Hippo could have focused on one feed that was already on low health. Certainly could have gotten 2 kills, but I think in the heat of the moment, it's very hard for you to actually make the decision itself.
Yep, heat of the moment is absolutely something that matters. Auctioneer not picking up a TP, just running out the base is something that is kind of a mistake that people tend to do, and then end up paying the ultimate price for it.
I think it's technically
Fiend.
I would say I think it's Fiend a bit hurt. Okay, call save it. That coming back to the TP, I think not buying the TP right now is optional. To use the gold for something else like getting a third hero, which we are seeing right now, a crypt block coming in from Auctioneer. When you do not have the TP, you just need to play passively. Do not run into the other side of the map. Do not try and kill off your opponent. Or if you want to, at least get an Evo Potion.
This expansion actually isn't that far away. The ground distance between the opponent's base and the expansion is actually very less.
And now he's going in straight for the pencil kill. There's no tower to threaten the mana, but TP coming in from Hippo. Hippo certainly could afford the TP, considering that he's on 2 base now. And this will force Auctioneer back.
And okay, Hippo has a illusionary archmage there, which is going to die, which is fine.
Creep Lord third, finally out for Auctioneer. Creep Lord. Would you prefer Creep Lord over Dark Ranger? Dark Ranger Silence certainly is a very deadly spell against the Mountain King.
It's a well, depends really. I mean, also depends on player's playstyle. It depends on what you actually want. Criplord is very viable now, and you can tank the damage on it. You can use the Impale, and currently it's taking a beating. It is taking a huge beating there. Impale is amazing, and
nice Nova there, killing off one men.
and you want to
Now
consider.
the beats are getting open.
Yeah. Oh, the fiends. And you want to consider the number of units that he hit with that Impale. Not this one, the one earlier to this.
Yeah, Impale certainly stunned a lot of units. Now the fight, I would say, is going towards Hippo. Auctioneer dropping below 50 foot, was sitting at 50 foot earlier. DK have a few coils left. Mountain King totally out of mana. Destroyer now up in the air has Dispel, and now Hippo is going to lose unit left, right and center. That okay, no more mana on the Undead army. Now
Auctioneer should have brought the fight on the Blight. Staying outside the Blight has cost him a bit here. Criplot goes down.
yeah, Criplot dies, and things is now not looking good for Auctioneer. Auctioneer dropping to 33 supply. Hippo sitting at 57, some of it in production, but Hippo has a second base to support his losses. Auctioneer doesn't.
This is something that will cost Auctioneer. Usually counter expanding is a good strategy, but of course this is kind of a new map. People are still getting used to it.
Yeah, and now this is actually one of the classic human play. Tier 2 expansion, burst up into upkeep and then push into your opponent base, and this is working quite well for Auctioneer. Auctioneer certainly did not scout for it, and now most likely will pay the price for it. DK very low, has a greater healing, has a TP to save himself, but will not use those two just yet.
Or rather didn't have to use it just yet. And he's fine. Criplot is back. Auctioneer should be able to hold off against this. If he upgrades one more tower back there, I think he should be able to stay towards the inside of his base and try to fend off against this push. Getting a couple of destroyers there, and oh, destroyer getting pummeled.
A lot of riflemen, a respectable number of swords and priests at the moment.
Right.
AM getting focused. Impale has invoke potion save himself. DK has to TP out. The greater healing is already gone at 22 health. GG caught by Auctioneer.
Okay, so Auctioneer will just GG away. Game wasn't exactly over. I mean, I wouldn't say that Auctioneer was had a huge chance or had a very moderate amount of chance, but he did have sort of a chance there, which he could have still tried to extend the game a bit. And tapped out after he lost a couple of units. If he lost a couple of units, he could have still tried to pressurize the Archmage to TP away, which he did, by the way. Archmage did, there was a force invul on the Archmage.
Archmage has 2 invoke and a TP, and Mountain King was also out of mana, so I think Auctioneer certainly could have stayed in the fight just a bit longer if he managed to kill more units, but Lich was out of mana, Creep Lord was out of mana as well, so things wasn't looking too good for Auctioneer.
Right, let's see how that's in game number 2 then. It's going to be the loser's pick. Auctioneer gets to pick game number 2 map.
Let's see what map he will play on.
Last refuge. I've noticed a tendency, by the way. Each time Hippo is in the finals, there's some sort of tendency that his opponent always chooses Last Refuge.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what's that about, but it is a thing.
I mean, Last Refuge certainly is a very good map. We see Auctioneer winning on Last Refuge, so maybe he want to pull that win again. But Last Refuge isn't it advantageous to human?
Mainly have that expansion, easily creepable, easily expandable, easily defendable, and you don't want that for your opponent human player.
We should see Auctioneer punishing the expansion from Hippo. Could see a expansion coming in from Auctioneer himself actually.
Alright, the game is underway. Get Hippo this time spawning at the bottom left. Blue human. On the top right we got Auctioneer, red Undead. And the last matchup was going pretty neck and neck. It wasn't exactly in any way one-sided. Auctioneer was doing his thing, Hippo was doing his thing. They had a couple of engagements here and there, and by my understanding, I think both of them are kind of around the same level of play.
Yeah, but I think one thing Auctioneer could have done better in the previous game is to scout a bit more often at the human main to scout whether he's going for tier 3 or is he going to stay at tier 2, 70 supply, 80 supply push, which is what Hippo did. And to be honest, I don't think Auctioneer was ready for that. We see him getting cornered into his base, unable to do much. Because if you see that style of human play, ideally you want to go some abominations, you want to get disease cloud, and you want to have a destroyer more readily available.
Yes, absolutely, and Disease Cloud is something considerable. Archmage once again for Hippo, and Crippler for Auctioneer. Whoa. I think Auctioneer has a plan. That's why he specifically selected this map here. Expansion, of course, considered earlier that it is easily creepable on this map, easily defendable.
Yeah, but on human against human is possible, I would say, but it by that point in time it boils down on how both players macro as well. Because with Undead, sometimes you are just busy microwing your units that you actually forget to do stuff in your base, and that could cost you the game as well.
For sending out that annoying scout footman. Should reach the base, and that will give away Auctioneer's hero. Auctioneer not going for... I mean, he has a 6th acolyte, but he didn't go in for any kind of scouting at all.
Most likely a fast expansion play coming in from Auctioneer. Footman sees the creep lord now. Does he? Yeah, he sees the creep lord now. And I think people knows that it's most likely a fast expansion from the Undead.
Yeah, P4 definitely knows that, and that's why he is doing an expansion for himself, by the way. Auctioneer now...
This out without any worry.
Yeah, Auctioneer now looking for critters, actually. Shouldn't waste time trying to follow the footman there. Has 4 ghouls there, could pull in one of them. Or, I don't know, all 3 of them, all 4 of them, and then get them back to the harvesting.
And now things is not looking good for Auctioneer. Hippo has finished creeping up his natural, can set up an expansion, and now is running into Auctioneer and want to harass the expansion.
This was late. This was definitely late by Auctioneer. He should have started this around the time Hippo did it. Now, because he did it a bit late, Hippo is here, and Hippo will punish him, and he will not let the expansion come up. Or at least...
level 2 on. Oh, Ziggurat got cancelled.
This is bad.
Oh, got destroyed. Wasn't cancelled. And things is looking super bad for Auctioneer. Water Elemental now very strong against the ghouls. Ghouls are dying left, right, and center. There's 2 ghouls down. The 3rd ghoul may fall.
Auctioneer trying to go in for a surround there, but with the units that he has, he can't really get a good surround, and even if he does, those units aren't exactly going to kill the Archmage.
Yeah. And Auctioneer is just losing units left, right, and center. This is not good at all. Behind all this, Hippo is setting up his own expansion. His expansion is already done.
And Auctioneer doesn't know about that.
At this point in time, Auctioneer shouldn't continue to try and set up the expo. He should just tech, go into Fiends, go to tier 3 hold on West. But that is GG called by Auctioneer. Oh, what a disaster.
Disaster. And
Auctioneer didn't even kill a unit. He has 0 units killed. Oh no.
really? I thought he did. What's the bronze match? It's best out of 1, says Lucker. Yep, bronze match is best out of 1. So you have Hippo here. 3-time Return to the Jungle champion. You wanna take the interview?
Nah, you do it.
Sure.
Hello.
Hey Hippo.
Yo.
How you doing, man?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
You're doing just fine. So how do you feel, man? You are a 3-time champion now.
Yeah, I'm happy the games went reasonably well, I think.
Went really well so far. We didn't have too many players, sadly, in this tournament, but the games have been going in pretty well so far. Most of the games have some spots there, especially the ones which you were playing in. Had some lovely engagements.
Yeah, some pretty good games coming from you.
So, how do you feel? You have to say.
Not very much. I mean, the first game I played against the Orc, I wasn't expecting him to go Blade Master, actually. We played a few times before, and I think he always went fast here, so it's a bit thrown off guard when he went Blade Master, but
Absolutely.
went okay. He didn't get very much done with it, actually.
Yeah, I would say you play pretty well around the Blade Master.
Yeah, the map's a bit annoying because you can't. It's very hard to get level 2. I hit a lucky timing where he didn't have reinforced defenses yet. It was over from there. And then the final went quite well. I didn't know the first map at all, so that was a bit weird. I don't think.
It was.
None of us are not very clear about the map.
Yep, the first map was pretty blank for us as well. I think I hardly played on it once or something.
Yeah.
So far for all the 3 tournaments, which one do you think are of the harder opponent for you?
So I think, well, every opponent's very good. I think I had to play the Orc Bucker in a best of 3 in the last time. That's quite hard. I thought, at least, that was trickier than maybe this one, because the second game this time went, yeah, it was a bit one-sided, I think, unfortunately.
Lucker took way too many risks, actually. He crept out both of the red camps. I think you did notice that earlier, and his Blade Master almost died in both of them.
His Blade Master was effectively at 7 health most of the time.
Yeah. Super risk there taken by Lucker in both of the games, and of course getting the items with that as well. And as mentioned earlier about the series, Hippo is a long time player he's a long time participant in the series. He has been in the series since the first one, and has always either been a finalist, bronze champion, or the champion himself. Alright then, thank you Hippo for joining us, and thank you so much for running the tournament. Hopefully we'll be doing more in the future and seeing you there as well.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, have a nice day, man.
Have a nice day.